Hi guys, what's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Total War Arena. So, a little bit different today, we're having a look at the Tier 3 Javelins. Not so much a unit review, but just having a little bit of a look at some low tier Javelin gameplay. A bit different from what I normally do. Obviously I tend to be on the higher tier side of things, or at least sort of mid tiers at the moment. But I thought it was a bit more of a beginner friendly guide, looking at some low tier Javelin gameplay, perhaps a few do's and don'ts. As you know, in my case, probably some more don'ts than do's, but anyway, we'll just hop straight into a game and have a little look at some footage and how we got on. So, we are on the Battle of Thermopylae. I'm using Julius Caesar as my commander. There's no real set Javelin commander. Some people prefer Sulla as the Javelin commander because of the speed bonus he can convey. But I kind of like Caesar because of his support abilities. He gives increased melee attack. And he's also got a slight boost to missile accuracy and movement speed with his second commander's ability. So at the start, I just push forward, have a bit of a look around the forest to try to see what's going on. My biggest concern is, at this start, I'm in my own, here in the open, and I have no friendly infantry over here, or no friendly infantry over here. I've got some cavalry, which is no use, some archers, and some AFK pikes. Now I could theoretically control these pikemen and bring them with me, but it's kind of enough of a handful controlling my own units at the moment. So, and that's my biggest threat right at the start. You should always, with javelins, or any ranged unit, you're so vulnerable to cavalry, you really need to be with a friendly infantry unit which can support you in the event of melee combat. So, seeing that, I look round. I see these units here. We've got three Roman heavy infantry which are pushing up to this catch point on the top. So I think that seems like a reasonable location. I don't mind going up here. I'll come and join them. I know I've got time to move through this forest and get to this ramp to join them before any infantry are likely to show up. So I feel relatively safe in doing this. But you should always be trying to find friendly infantry to support with. I mean, even better if you can play in platoons with your friends. And you know, one of you can take some javelins or some archers, and the other one of you can take some infantry units, and you can stick together and support each other. So, as we push up this ramp, we should get some spot on an enemy tier 3 barbarian infantry who have a very quick unit. They push straight up and capture this observation point. Now, this observation point, by capturing that, is going to give them view range over this whole forest. These pikes down here in the bottom, so they've seen all of us, so they know what's coming for them because they've captured the observation point. They obviously don't like what's coming for them because they start to back off rather quickly. But not quick enough. I just managed to get a little bit of a throw of some javelins in, and it hits them in the back. It actually does pretty reasonable damage, 3,000 damage just for one unit having one throw. So I move straight up and capture the observation point. And as you can see, you get an idea of how this works. You can see the range we get on this observation point. Look, we see all around here, so we now know the whole forest. We know exactly what we're facing. We've got some warband down the bottom. Another unit of warband here, and some other equal tier javelins. But these guys obviously know that we've got quite a bit coming for them, so they want to back off. So knowing that, I push really hard straight up to this ledge, because I think if I get close, which I do manage to get close enough, I get to throw a volley off this ledge, which goes straight down into them. Look at that clustered units there, and we get a really good amount of damage. You know, sort of 4,000 or 5,000 damage there. Our friendly Romans also throw some javelins in. So I start to charge down this ramp. I want to try and get into these guys. Start to throw more javelins at them. They're all full retreat. And it looks like our friendly infantry are pushing up with us, so we've got support with us on the way. But we do start to see some enemy artillery lobbing rocks towards us, which is a bit of a concern. A concern which soon comes into fruition as we're about to be hit by a rock, I believe. Which does a fair amount of damage, actually. Yes, there we go. Oof, big hit there, 3,000 damage. It took our unit, it took almost a quarter of our health off from that one rock. So I try and separate myself out a little bit from the friendly infantry. I want to remain close because we've got, look at these two groups of 3 enemy cavalry over here, which is kind of a threat. But they get engaged with their own cavalry, which makes me feel a little bit safer. And then I'm sort of trying to analyse this situation. Where do I want to go? We've got quite a good number of enemy infantry down here, but it doesn't look like any of our friendly infantry are moving up to engage them, so I'd kind of be exposed on my own if I went there, and we know the enemy's still got this cavalry around here. So since our friendly infantry are moving up here to try and engage this cavalry, I decide that my best bet is to probably come with them. I'm just trying to stay a little bit behind them, so I'm a little bit safer from the enemy artillery. So not a lot happens here as I'm just sort of moving up, trying to position myself. I'm cautious of just trying to keep in this wide formation. I'm trying not to blob up with my infantry. It's very easy just to right click in one spot and get all your infantry to be concentrated in one place. But then if you get hit by one of those artillery rounds, it's going to do so much more damage because your infantry are going to be so much more concentrated. Now another quick tip here is, particularly newer players tend to see, oh look, there's some enemy cavalry here, right click, let's attack, let's try and kill these guys. Well, if you look, they're really spread out and there's far more friendly cavalry in this group than there are enemies. And most of the friendly cavalry on my side, if I threw javelins at these guys now, I would just do so much more damage to my own cavalry units than I would the enemy. So you've got to be really careful about picking your opportunities when to throw these javelins. It's so easy to do them and commit friendly fire, particularly with these units, because these javelins do so much damage. When you get a volley of these 3 javelins, the damage potential is absolutely enormous. So you have to be careful of that. So we continue to move up. Again, I'm still kind of wary of the enemy cavalry because there's still kind of quite a few of them left and they're relatively good health. And they can one charge through the centre of us and they will do a lot of damage very quickly. So I was adventuring this way with the friendly infantry, but we have more infantry have now moved up to support us. And I'd rather come down this way, see if I can get some javelin volleys in through here. So I move up. I'm a little bit of ahead of our infantry now. I felt fairly safe because we had quite a bit of support behind us. I was trying to get in range of these enemy horses, which we just managed to just about get into range in a minute, I think. And I throw a volley at them. But they do kind of come at us, so I quickly back off behind our friendly swords. But we've still got 3,000 damage in that volley. You know, we're starting to get a little bit of aggression damage built up already. And as they retreat, I get another volley in. You see, one of my javelins managed to clip the back of a Roman there, so we did 150 friendly damage. But we got 4,000 damage into those cavalry with that volley, so it was well worth it. So I continue to move up. I'm going to watch out for the enemy stakes here. You'll lose a lot of men if you run into them. And I start to advance in. I'm looking for opportunities on this warband here, so I'm trying to get close to them without actually being vulnerable to them. So by going in this gap here, I'm protected from this by this wall, but I can lob my javelins over the wall at them. But obviously I'm conscious we've got friendly infantry engaged at the front and I don't want to cause any friendly fire. So we have our focused fire ability with R. So I select that and I'm able to target the back of their unit and do a really concentrated volley, which is what? Look at that. It's 8, 12, almost sort of 14,000 damage we managed to cause with that one volley, because you also get increased weapons damage when you use a focused fire ability. But that does have a cooldown, so instead I start targeting this very back unit. And you can see the spread we get on our missiles is quite significant. So we still cause some friendly casualties, but the amount of damage we're doing to the enemy is just so vastly superior. But as we start to get an increased engagement, I stop firing here because I don't want to cause too much friendly fire with the new units that have come in. Not only is it bad because you lose points, but it upsets a lot of people, and it's not really good play to ruin other people's game by friendly fire. But by the time I move back around here, my focused fire ability has come back. So I'm looking to target this large group here. And we get a nice volley in there. Look, another 5,000-6,000 damage. I get a few more shots in, but we're starting to get a bit close to our friendly units here. And we start to cause some damage to our units, so I stop firing. Now, I make a bit of a misplay here. As I said at the start, I'm playing with Julius Caesar, whose main abilities are support abilities, particularly his first ability gives increased melee attack and defense to your friendly units as well as yourself, and his other ability gives increased movement speed. So instead of just standing here like a lemon like I do, it would have been a much better move if I'd earlier on charged sort of really close to our friendly units and started to activate these. We could have given our friendly infantry a boost to their attack ability. I finally realised that this is something I should be doing in the end, but it takes me quite a while to realise that that would have been a good move. So then I start to get closer and start to activate these, but in the end thankfully we managed to capture the enemy base anyway, so it doesn't matter and we win the day. So that was quite a good game for us. We managed to cause quite a lot of damage while also providing support for the enemies. We came out as the top player for our team in the game, which is great, and I was quite pleased with that game. We got a good amount of aggression points, as well as doing quite a lot of capture points and support for the team in sort of giving things like those damage increase. So as you see, yeah, you get plus 20% melee defense and 30% melee attack to your friendly units by activating that. And this one also gives a slight increase to movement speed. So it's well worth being close to your front lines. And if you've not got an opportunity to use your javelins properly, you should certainly be at least using your buffs to support your friendly units. And you do get points, credits, experience for providing that supporting role. So it's well worth doing from an advancement point of view as well. So hopefully that's given you sort of a brief insight into both sort of Caesar and the Javelins. They are quite a powerful class, and the class I didn't really play that much in closed beta, but I'm certainly going to be pushing down this trajectory a bit more now. Another video that I want to do once I get a little bit sort of tier 5 with these guys is going to be having a look at how to tackle those pesky war elephants. because Javelin are a particularly effective class for dealing with them. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a like. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Any questions about Javelins, I'm happy to answer them. Yes, and subscribe to the channel. We've got lots more Total War Arena content coming up. So thanks guys, and I'll see you all on the next video.